Welcome back to Tribune Sports Live. Erik Harris, the sports editor of the Trussville Tribune, stops in. Erik, welcome.
Good to be here.
Erik, so we've seen two games now with Clay, Hewitt, and Pinson. We'll start with the Hewitt Huskies. Your thoughts on their first two games this season and where the season's headed?
I think they really look good right now. You know, this is a team that's kind of growing under a very experienced quarterback. He's doing a great job right now, Zack Thomas. And he's really a workhorse for them right now. And with him leading the way, 39-34 win over Gardendale this week. I wasn't crazy about the amount of punishment he took out there. You know, he ran the ball a lot. He was very effective there. But I think for this team to really make a run this season, they need to take some of the mileage off of his legs.
Well, one of the things Coach Floyd talked about in the preseason was he wanted to see more of Zack Thomas through the air and less on the ground. Now, a lot of his runs aren't designed runs. He'll just kind of take off and know that he can get yardage. But you're right, he is taking a pounding.
That's right. Well, that's because he's a competitor. You know, he's going to go out there and he's going to do whatever it takes to win the game. And that's what he did against Gardendale. Through the air, I feel like he's got a great target there in Noah Igbenogany. I'm sorry if I screwed that name up, but it doesn't really matter what his name is because he's that fast. And he's such a hard guy to cover. I mean, these high school secondaries, they're going to have a hard time keeping that guy in front of them. And he's a big play waiting to happen. And
defensively, the Huskies seem to be a good bit better this year. Showed maybe some warts against Gardendale a little bit with some missed tackles. But all in all, your thoughts on the Husky defense?
Well, I like what they did up front. They seemed to do a great job at the line of scrimmage. They really held their own there. It was those gash plays. It was the big explosive plays that Gardendale made throughout. Zack Cups, Gardendale's quarterback, he did a good job of kind of moving around, extending the play a little bit. And I think that Husky secondary is kind of the question right now. Got to get a little more experience there, learn a little bit. They've got a learning curve right now. But I think they'll bring it together. It's time. Right now is the time, though. You've got Tuscaloosa County coming in for the first region game of the year, and that's where they got to start it up.
All right, on to Clay Chalkville. What else can you say about them? It's a team that was 15-0 last year, and maybe looking even better this year.
Absolutely. This defense has really come out. They lost a lot of guys. You know, they're replacing 9 starters on the defensive side of the ball, but those guys have really filled in just perfectly. That secondary, it's hard to say anything about this team is better than it was a year ago, but I really like that secondary. Got a lot of length back there, and it's going to be hard to complete passes against those guys. Of course, you got Ty Pigrome doing his thing at quarterback. TJ Simmons, Nico Collins, those are 2 SEC caliber receivers out wide. And they're hard to cover. I mean, and it's not just what they do out running routes. It's also what they do in the running game and short passes in the screen game, things like that. Those 2 receivers, especially TJ, he does such a great job blocking. Those are some real weapons.
And one of the things we've seen Coach Hood do, throughout the years is get the ball to his playmakers.
Absolutely, and they've got a lot of them to choose from. I just talked about the 2 wideouts you have out there, TJ Simmons, Nico Collins. Then you get a guy like Brandon Berry in that backfield. He's weighted, he's a senior now. Finally his first chance to really tote the load for this team. He's doing a great job. And then you bring in a transfer from Pinson Valley, Des Williams. Smaller, shiftier guy, but he's able to make a lot of big plays as well. And then that offensive line, it obviously starts up front, and those guys are doing a great job as well.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can they repeat and go undefeated again?
Absolutely.
All right. Pinson Valley, we talked a little bit about, before the season started, their schedule looked, pretty daunting. So far, they've gotten through their first couple ball games, and maybe a break this week coming up against Woodlawn. But how do you think they fare in their region?
Well, they've done well early. They're coming off a 26-7 win at Aniana. I like where they set up in this region. This is a tight region. You kind of have Clay Chalkville up at the top. I think then you bring in Pinson, you bring in Gardendale. Those 2 will obviously meet face to face. should be a great ball game. Then you have Huffman in there. Huffman is an improving team as well. But I really like what Pinson Valley's doing right now. They have a sophomore quarterback. It's rare to say that you have a sophomore quarterback returning as a starter. But Jackie Matthews really seems like he's grown a lot. And Torrey Hendricks in the backfield replacing Nick Gibson. He's just done a beautiful job so far. And I really like the Indians' chances right now of maybe finishing second in this region.
All right, very good. Well, Eric, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure to have you in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, when we return, Alan Taylor will be back with predictions in just a moment.